Hi estheticians, so we're doing the Peel Your Way to Success class today. If you haven't found me on YouTube, find Jessa Esthetician and subscribe and like the videos there too. So I'll do them live in Esthetician Talk, and then they will also be available on YouTube. Let me move one thing. Okay. Hi. So we have a half an hour, so I'm going to get started. So some of you might be joining in later in the video. So first, we're going to start with why peels are an amazing add-on for your business. So make sure that you're doing peels when your client isn't going to be going to Hawaii, or some of you live in areas where they're getting a lot of sun. So you have to make sure that they have enough downtime with the peel, or they can go right out and burn. Hi. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so they can go right out and burn. And what I tell my clients when they're exfoliating at home with acids and they're peeling is, if they go out in the sun and have a really bad day, it can undo a lot of the good work that you're doing. So if you're trying to get rid of some sun damage or acne, what the sun does, as we know, but this is how I explain it to my clients, is I say whenever you get stitches or you have something else that's healing that you're trying to get well from, then you don't go out in the sun because it irradiates the skin. So you're putting all that radiation back into the skin when you're trying to undo sun damage, for example. And it's also a great thing for your business because you can get your facial prices up. So the way I've always done it is peels are an add-on. There is a peel a la carte, and I just had a client the other day who'd come to my business multiple times over the years but never saw me, and she had no idea there was a peel a la carte. So I was like, why don't you come back once a month? Because she's like, I can't afford it. I can only do it twice a year. So I said, come back every month and do the Quick Radiance peel, which is the peel a la carte. You can also have other things you offer, like we do microderm in that form. It's much better to get your client back for a professional exfoliation treatment, which is not something they can do at home. And even if that's all you do in that appointment, but they're coming more often, you're going to have a lot more success with your clients. Sometimes they don't have time and they don't have money to do the full extractions and massage, and we all know that lymph drainage and extractions and everything else are very beneficial. But you should, in my opinion, have an in-between appointment they can do, or they can package their peels. We do our peel in 15 minutes, and then we charge about $50. So, when you're doing an eyebrow or something, you're spending the same amount of time and it's half the income for you. So during peel season, you want to take advantage of getting all of your clients on a schedule. Of course, a lot of posts and questions have popped up, which we're going to get into. How do I, make the procedure better? I had someone peel too much, or I peeled myself too much, and I'm getting a lot of that right now, and we'll get into why that happens as well. I see new and existing clients regularly still, and I don't have a lot of problem with them going too deep with their peel. So again, we'll get into that procedure in a minute. So to structure your peels into your business, I like to, we have protocols. I'm getting a question about the protocols. We have a whole protocol manual. I also have some old videos on YouTube, but I'm going to redo those for you guys. I want to publish something every Tuesday and every Wednesday. So subscribe to YouTube, and then you can interact with me live a couple times a month in the group. But I didn't want to start everything again until I could consistently do it for you guys. So every Tuesday/Wednesday, there will be either a live class or a new video. Okay, so protocols, we have protocols if you're using our line. Make sure you have those, because I had a couple people this week that didn't have those. So make sure whatever peel line you're using that you have the proper protocols. So one part of success with our peels, these are our peels. We have the Mandelic. I don't know if these show up backwards. Sometimes they do in videos. The Luminous and Sugar Twist. And let me get into what's different about each one of these, and you can apply this to other lines that you may or may not be using. I used a lot of lines as far as peels go. I've used a lot of the ones that have been around for years, and my only issue, which was my personal issue, was I didn't like when the formulas were based in certain things. I wanted them to be healthy, you know, like have non-toxic ingredients, basically. So with peels, one type of acid doesn't work best on its own. So if you have a Mandelic peel with nothing else in it, or you have a lactic acid or a glycolic peel or a salicylic acid peel, and it's all these high strength acids, but it's just one, you're at a disadvantage at that point if that's how you're peeling your clients. I don't think I've touched on this very many times with you guys, but this is really important, and I've tested it in my practice and it's been clinically studied. So the study that they did was on glycolic and retin-A, and they had people use them separately, which of those two, 100% I would go with glycolic on a lot of people because of the issues with sun, and a lot of people's capillaries come out with retin-A. Their skin gets very thin compared to other acids. So you want to know what your acids are doing for people's skin. I personally use a wide variety of acids. So we have, in the Luminous, we have glycolic, lactic, kojic, and grape acid, and they all work a little bit differently. Glycolic is usually on the gentler side, but people will say lactic, you know, is more gentle, for example. I personally react badly to a lot of lactic, but glycolic is fine all day long. I don't react very well to retin-A either, or retinols. So anytime, even if it's acids that aren't my personal favorite that I was talking about, anytime you combine your acids, you're going to get better results, because they each do something different for the skin. So that kind of leads into, okay, so for our line, for example, has 3 peels. Which one do you get? Which one do you use? When do you use it? The answer is you rotate peels as much as you can, but there are peels like the Mandelic where if someone had pigment, I might do 2 of these and then 1 sugar twist peel and then 2 more of these, because Mandelic's really good with pigment, but so are the other acids, you know, so it's good to keep the skin guessing, but you also want to see what acids your clients do well with. So this is really important, and the only way to test this is not to leave your peels on too long and I'm including other lines that have been around a long time that I've used. If you follow certain protocols to a T with timing and you leave your peels on too long, 99% of the time, that's what causes it to go too deep, and you end up with issues. So you want to go with less time and a little bit lighter peel to see if your skin or your client's skin gets along with the peel. Okay, so I'm gonna say, let's see, I've had a client recently who can't use Mandelic because she's a little bit sensitive to almonds, for example. And I've had other clients who do the best with the luminous. These 3 gel peels in our line should not be something where one of these is a lot stronger than the other. It's actually all about what your client's skin get along with. The only peel we had that was spicy and it was not for sensitive skin was the pumpkin peel. We actually discontinued that one because there were quite a few people where it was just too hot for their skin. So now we have the collection of 3. But you need to make sure you're really familiar with the peels that you're using and that you pick the right one for your client's skin. There are clients where I'll put the luminous on and then I'll layer the Mandelic on top, you know, in just their cheek area where there's scarring or there's pigment or there's something going on to get even more acids in the mix, okay? And let's see. So the procedure, so we started to talk about a little bit of the procedure, and I'm getting a lot of, somebody's peeling a lot and they're itchy, or my skin didn't do well with this one, therefore it's too strong for most of my clients. You know, make sure that you treat each client's skin individually. So, for example, my skin does well with all 3 of these, okay? But I had clients, like I said, that did really well with one and not so good with others. So a lot of the time I would use the one that got the best results on that person. And timing is really important. So I'm gonna say the first time you ever work on someone, it's no more than like 30 seconds to a minute. It's kind of like with a microderm machine. If you went from a fine, you know, there's fine tips and then there's really gritty tips. So we're talking, you're going from the finest tip at 30 seconds to a minute to 5 minutes and you're going straight to coarse, like, you know, really going into their skin. So you need to make sure you're doing your timing right. That's going to save you more than anything of, you know, because you're going in not knowing which blend will be the best besides your best educated, not guess, but you're going to take your education and what you know about each client and you're going to try to choose the best peel for their skin the first time you work with them and yourself. So if you don't do that great with glycolic, like lactic acid for me is irritating, but I put a very small amount in a couple of our peels and it's fine that way, as long as it's a small percentage. If it's like a 20 or 30% lactic peel, my skin will break out in little pustules, and that may be what they're making that lactic out of. So you have to think about what they're making each acid out of, because that's a really different ingredient, okay? So I want everybody to start with 30 seconds to a minute on the peels. It's kind of like eyebrows. You can always do more with peels. Somebody could say, hey, I'm having nothing. I'm not even like really dry from that peel. And you go, you know what? Come right in 2 days instead of 2 weeks or a week, and we can do another one close together at a short amount of time. And what that does is it's a very safe way to work your client up. Here's the other thing. There's a whole technique where you do the peels shorter and quick, and you don't leave them on for very long, and you do them close together. You do 2 or 3 in a week, and it's a way to go deep with the peel, but lower your risk of the side effects. Like if they get to medium depth, you're looking at rashing, blisters. This is all normal medium depth. So if you accidentally, so let's say you go 5 minutes or 10 minutes with a peel that you're not as familiar with, and I'm talking any line, I really am. So I've used a lot of peels because I was on the hunt, you know, for the best one, as you guys are through my career. So I'm looking at the peels over here, but you're taking a risk leaving it on longer versus doing quick shots and doing them closer together. And I know one of my friends and mentors who's done acne forever, we always talk about the way we do things, and we kind of came to the same conclusion over the years. So when you've done peels on enough skins, you'll come to the conclusions that I'm talking about through working on people. You see what I'm saying? So I have friends who've done aesthetics for 30 years, and when we talk about how we do certain techniques, the good estheticians that I know, we've come to some of the same conclusions, especially about something like peels. And that would be shorter, quicker peels, closer together. Financially, it's not a bad benefit either. If you're going 5 minutes, you're charging the same amount. You're taking a huge risk of a reaction in some situations. It's not a reaction. It's going to a deep depth where you have a high chance of having side effects. And this has come up over and over again with our peels, and I think peels in general. I think what estheticians think is they want to see like this snakeskin shedding, peeling, and you don't want to see that on your clients if you're doing your peels well. I know there's a lot of you that believe in that, but you do go into a category where you're taking a risk with side effects with certain clients. Some clients, it'll go deeper, so the results will happen faster. They'll have this, like the snakeskin shedding, more of a medium depth peel, which in a lot of states we're not allowed to do, by the way, but some states you definitely are. So there's plenty of other ways, which we will talk about now, to up the ante with your peel. So if you're only leaving it on 30 seconds to a minute, you could do, we have a 5% pumpkin enzyme, for example, that you can steam with. When you steam with an enzyme, or when you combine your peel with something like microderm, obviously, it's going to go deeper. It will also go deeper if they have acids at home, which they should have acids at home. And you want to make sure that your client does the right thing. So if they have any kind of exfoliant at home, which they should be coupling their peel with the home care version. I don't know if I have our home care version, but we have a 15% acid, and then we have the triple blemish control, which that product is so universal, we're probably going to rename it because the anti-aging crowd looks at that and goes, blemish control, but there's really 7% vitamin C ester in that, and then a 7% acid blend. So that would be the low level acid that you can work people up to. You can give people a higher percentage of acid at home, but they should use it less often. We are going to be doing some sales. We're just checking our stock right now, as funny as that sounds. But on peels we will, because it's a good time of year. We've been educating about it. We're just trying to make sure we have enough for everybody. That's always the question. So let's see. If you're doing peels and getting people on a program, you better be prescribing them something for home care. So I would say, almost 50% of their results are going to come from them using an acid on a regular basis. Okay, so you want to make sure that they start at home slow. So this is kind of like the peels at your business. You're going to start slow. It's like eyebrows. You can't, once you've taken off too much, they have to grow it back. With a peel, once you've gone too deep, you can't take that back. They have to heal from it. So you just think about that logically. Make sure you go 30 seconds to a minute. We have a scale with peels where we ask people on a scale of 1, which means you feel nothing, and up to 10, which means take it off right now. That's what 10 is. Seriously, if they're an 8 or 9 or 10 with any peel you ever do, take it off, because you're going to go so deep within a couple minutes that you're going to be sorry. Okay, so again, certain states you're not supposed to go to the level where they're shedding a huge layer of skin all at once. So some of you, we're talking about the legal way for you to do it, but get the same kind of results that you'd get taking a bigger risk and going deeper. So that's a selling point with your clients, is you want to say, we can do the lunchtime version, we can do them close together, and we can do a series of 6 to 10 and get the same results but without the downtime. The only time you can't get certain results, I would say, it gets into the deeper levels of treatment, like where they're actually zombie face, like bloody after the deep treatments, like a laser or a super deep peel where they're literally doing wound care on their face for a week afterwards. Okay, so we don't want to usually our clientele as estheticians is not coming to us for that type of treatment. And again, you want to do what is legal too in your scope, which is superficial peels for sure in California. And I think that's what a lot of our clientele is going for. We want to get those really great results, but not go all the way down to where they're doing wound care, or like I said, medium depth peels, which will happen on accident. And the reason that it should be rare if you get good at peeling, but it could be because of stress. It could be because the weather changed, like this time of year, it's really dry, and you want to make sure even though it's peel season, that you're careful, because that dry skin, it likes to eat everything, is what I like to say. And so the peel is going to penetrate deeper, quicker, because the skin's trying to just eat whatever moisture it possibly can. And, if their body's out of balance at all, it's amazing what the body will do when you're peeling someone that's out of whack. So you could have a client you treat for a year or two, you do the same peel, and your first inclination might be something's wrong with the peel. If something goes wrong in that treatment, like the peel goes really deep, but it never has for a whole year, it's actually not usually the peel. I had that happen with a mask years ago that the client had on many times over 2 years, but her body chemistry went out of whack and it went deep. So she actually reacted like she was super allergic to this mask, but I told her the likelihood of that is low because she's reacted to it normally for a couple of years, although you can get new allergies, so you want to watch out for that. Let's see, I think we're coming up soon on our time, and I've covered a lot of what I wanted to teach you guys. But at home, let's just finish up with that a little bit more into depth. make sure that they start their exfoliants at home at least once or twice a week. A lot of my acne and aging clients, I have them use it once a day. With acne or scarring, you want to be exfoliating those areas twice a day sometimes. So I personally put my acids at home. It's the triple blemish for me. I put it in my problem areas, which is where there's old scarring and breakouts, twice a day, unless I notice that the skin's dehydrated or the weather changes and something's going on, which happens maybe once or twice a year. And then your skin, excuse me, your skin will start peeling, or your client's skin will start peeling. Oh yeah, that's a good question. So with the treatments, you want to do 6 to 10 peels in a row when you do a series, and you want to do it twice a day. Make sure they're doing the home care version, though you're skipping a whole bunch of the benefits and results if they're not using their products at home with the peels. And I get most of my clients going on some sort of acid or exfoliation regime at home, because I think it's really important. Our skin cells just keep slowing down as we age or when we get stressed, and it's important to have help turning skin cells over. One special thing about my skin, for example, which is why I use so much acid, because that might sound like a lot to you guys, is I have keratosis pilaris, which causes skin cell buildup problems. It's kind of like acne. You produce too many skin cells, like 5 times too many. So your skin's rate at getting rid of those cells isn't fast enough. So if you have acne or you have keratosis pilaris, you're going to need more exfoliation. Somebody who's had a lot of sun damage or smoked or that kind of thing, they're going to need to exfoliate a lot, at least initially. And somewhat, they need to exfoliate to keep up the results, because we're always aging. So basically, new sun damaged areas that were damaged years ago will come out as you age, and your skin cells slow down, you know, as you age. So, all right, it was a good class, and I will see you guys either with a fresh video or for another class next Tuesday or Wednesday. And go to my YouTube and subscribe and like the videos there, and you can keep track of the videos and classes there. I'm going to do some fun things that are esthetician related too for YouTube. All right, have a great day.